What a Week 11 NFL season we have had so far. Good gravy. We have some great games, and we had some bad games. We had some games that were questionable. We had some games that were like, what in the world is going on? But it is Monday, and that means one thing and one thing only. It is time for some way or no way. Is Brock Purdy the league MVP? Are the Broncos a playoff team? Should the Steelers fire Matt Canada? But first...
And now, Mike's thoughts.
The Detroit Lions on Sunday were trailing by 12 points going into the fourth quarter to the Chicago Bears. Not only were they trailing, they were playing some very, very bad football. Let's just call it spade a spade. They were not playing good football at all. Matter of fact, they're playing such bad football that Jared Goff was being booed. The Detroit Lions fans were booing Jared Goff at home after leading them to a 7-2 season so far this year. Of course, now they're 8-2 after they come back from 12 points down and scored 17 unanswered points to beat the Chicago Bears 31-26. But Jared Goff was being booed. Detroit Lions fans, you guys need to figure yourselves out right now. You guys need to figure yourselves out. You have no way, shape, or form to be booing my man, Jared Goff. You have no way, shape, or form to be booing your guy, Jared Goff. This guy came into Detroit. Yes, they did go like 0-16 his first season there. The next year, they start off like 0-3 or 0-4. Rattled off 7 wins in a row. Has you guys already 8 wins now this season. Jared Goff has put you guys up on this pinnacle, on this stand, where you guys think you guys are something now. You guys haven't won shit. And you guys want to boo Jared Goff for having a bad game? You guys want to boo my man for having a bad game? Slow it down, baby. Slow it down. Collect your thoughts and understand what you are witnessing right now. You guys understand that you are witnessing one of the best performances of a quarterback of all time. You guys are understanding that you guys are witnessing one of the best turnarounds of all time. So when Jared Goff has a bad game, not even a bad game, a bad first half, you guys want to boo him at home? Luckily for you guys, Jared Goff's like, yeah, I was playing bad. They had the right to boo. No. What he really wanted to say is shut your damn mouths and understand your role, jabronis. That's what he really wanted to say. Cue that intro. Are you ready for the best damn NFL show on the planet? Man Hour Nation, rise up.
You don't want to be every time, no. I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that while I bring you the host, Mike, Buck, and Cone. You know who coming to the stage. Sports talk than what you about to hear right here. I second that.
Go. You know that it's us when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the core. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, then listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Stripes like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the fourth, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs, you know what's going on. Man, now we're After Dark, no LA, we the big spark. No fourth and inches won't cut you short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzzer beaters. We coming live all through your speakers, go.
And what is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckeye here with the Man Hour Show over to manhourradio.com. Check out the merchandise page or check out the blog section as well. New merch that just dropped over there. Some new classic Man Hour sloppy second merch is out there. Bada bing, bada boom, guys. Check it out. $19.99 for a t-shirt. $35.99 for a hoodie, guys. Check it out. It is it might be one of my best designs ever. Let's just call it spade a spade. It is pretty sexy. But if you guys are new here, consider subscribing. But if you haven't done so already, be sure to hit that like button. And if you are not going to be here for the whole show, if you're going to, bail out about 30 minutes or 15 minutes into the show because we are in the middle of the day, fresh of the work day, check out the podcast for him, guys. Head over to manhourradio.com. Click on that listen tab, and right after this live stream is over, there will be a podcast form for you guys up there. But of course, if you are following us on Facebook and or YouTube, we do upload clips each and every day, 3 hours a day. We upload a short every 3 hours. Guys, we're giving you like 24 clips a day. Like, Jesus. Sometimes I'm burning the candle at both ends, and sometimes I get wore out. But bada bing, bada boom, guys, we are in grind mode here over at Man Hour Nation. But we do got some people coming in the chat here. We got WB Ant in the chat. He says, good morning. Let me put the chat up here, guys. So, guys, I am rearranging the office. I am doing a few little things here, bada bing, bada boom. And, it's not quite ready yet. And the internet is down at my house, so I'm running off a hotspot. So no video for you guys here today. Just a nice little picture of the thumbnail. But Ant, good morning to you, bro. Hope you're having a grand old day. If I remember correctly, Ant, aren't you a Ravens guy, right? So you guys had to buy this week. So either way, good job to you, man. Ant, I believe you are a Ravens fan. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. But it is Monday, and that means one thing and one thing only, guys. We got Way or No Way happening. We got 4 or 5 topics to talk about. We're going to talk about the Broncos being a playoff team, the Pittsburgh Steelers that need to fire Matt Canada ASAP, Brock Purdy MVP, and of course, we got to talk about the Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Philadelphia Eagles tonight. Is this the game of the year, the game of the month, the game of the season? I think so. I think so. But guys, let's get right into it. Let's dive into it. And if you guys are new here, Way or No Way is very, very simple. We put out a statement. I've been trolling the old interwebs, putting a little bit of feeders out there and seeing what people think. Bada bing, bada boom. And then I bring out the statement. I say, hey, Way or No Way, Mountain Dew is the best soda out there. And I'll say, way. Mountain Dew not only quenches my thirst, it gets me hype and it shortens my semen count so I can be banging ladies all I want. All I want. But guys, that is Way or No Way. And Ant is a Ravens guy. I was correct. And he says he also got the Eagles winning tonight 27-20. All right, man. Slow it down, baby. Slow it down. We're not there yet, but damn, 27-20. Okay. But the first Way or No Way of the day that I want to get into are those Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos have now won 4 games in a row, upsetting the is it really an upset? But they beat the Minnesota Vikings last night in a very comeback fashion, right? Their offense looked very suspect pretty much the whole game long, and the Vikings were just it was a very ugly Sunday night game, but they did pull it out. 21-20, Russell Wilson, last second touchdown, throw it up prayer to Sutton, I believe it was, and they end up winning that game, giving them 4 wins in a row. Now 5-5 on the season, squarely in second place in the AFC West. So guys, we got to ask the question, are the Denver Broncos a playoff team, Way or No Way? When we look at the Denver Broncos, guys, they are a team that is very, very questionable, right? They are a team that I don't know if I can put any stock into them, because watching the game last night, I was laying on the couch just, chilling with the wife and having a grand old time and petting the dogs and watching this game. I'm like, man, how have the Denver Broncos won any games this season? Their offense looks terrible. Chris Collinsworth is just simply dogging Russell Wilson up and down the court. It's like, man, at some point, Russ is just going to have to come in and take over and do what he does. And then I kind of snooze off and I come back on during the fourth quarter, and the Broncos are driving, and Russell Wilson throws up a prayer into the end zone to win the game. And when I think about this, they have done this several times. They've done this against the Minnesota Vikings. They've done this against the Buffalo Bills. They've done this against the Green Bay Packers. It was a kind of a Russell Wilson, throw it up, somebody help me out and save my life type of thing. Excuse me. That is how it's been for the Denver Broncos. They're not a team that's playing really good football. Now their defense is playing good. Their defense is, probably a top 10 performing defense since they put that 70 piece on them week 3. Week 4, week 5, and beyond, they've been getting takeaways. They've let Frank Clark go. They let other veterans go. They're letting the new guys step up, and the new guys are showing up like, hey, you should have been playing with us the whole time. But way or no way are the Denver Broncos a playoff team? I'm going to say no way. I'm going to say no way because I think they are going to have to settle for a wild card, right? Yes, they did split with the Kansas City Chiefs so far this season. Yes, they do play the Chargers twice left in the season in a divisional round or in a division games, right? But with that being said, they do play teams like the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland Browns defense is the best defense in the NFL. DTR got his first win last night. The Browns are going to continue to get better and better and better. Then they travel to Houston, a Houston Texans team that you do not want to play right now. They are a team that is just grinding it out and winning a lot of games. The Chargers are a team that can step up and beat you. Right now, they need to fire their coach. They need to move on, but hey, we'll talk about that later. Then they travel to Detroit to take on the Lions. Then they play the Patriots and Chargers again, and then the Raiders. It is going to take 10 wins to get into the playoffs in the AFC. Right now, they're sitting at 5. Let's say they beat the Chargers twice. Let's say they beat the Patriots. Where is their other win going to come from? The other 2 wins. Are they going to steal one from the Browns? Are they going to steal one from the Texans? Are they going to steal one from the Lions? From the Raiders? Raiders are playing good too. Hold Miami down to 20 points. But in the end, this is a team that they are performing better. This is a team that you can say, yes, they are a top 10 defense since week 4. Now, I believe once you add the stats in the first three weeks, they are a subpar defense. But right now, the Denver Broncos are a team that is playing very, very well. They're playing very, very good football. They're clicking. Offense is getting lucky. Let's just call a spade a spade a spade. The offense is getting lucky. Throw it up. Somebody get me Russell Wilson, save my life, right? That's what it comes down to. But way or no way are the Denver Broncos a playoff team? No way. Unfortunately, they are going to miss the playoffs this season. Unfortunately, they have pretty tough schedule moving forward. Browns, Texans, Lions, Chargers, Raiders. They are in a tough spot. They put themselves behind the eight ball first 7 weeks of the season. Unfortunately, it is what it is. But Ant says, nope, the Broncos are not making the playoffs. I got my man Jameson in the chat as well. What's up, Jameson? Hope you're having a good old day. He says they held Miami to 20 by Tyreek Hill, didn't finish the game. We're talking about the Raiders here. We will be talking about the Raiders moving forward. Ant also says that the Bills will miss the playoffs too. I agree. I believe we said it last week, right? Put the fork in the Buffalo Bills. Put the fork in them. But however, Ant, WB, B-Dub, they did look decent against the Jets. They looked like a very scrappy team. When I posted, scrappy win, it was because that game was starting to get chippy. That game was like Sauce Gardner was body slamming Diggs. Diggs is the dirtiest player in the NFL. Let's just call it how it is. He is dirty. Dirty, dirty, dirty. But the Buffalo Bills right now, what are they sit? They're sitting at? They're sitting at 6-5. They could possibly get hot. Buffalo Bills could possibly get hot and make some type of playoff push. But they travel to Philly. And then they travel to Arrowhead. And then they play the Dallas Cowboys. And then they travel to LA Chargers and Patriots and then to Miami. Even if they can upset one of their next three, Cowboys, Chiefs, or Eagles, they're probably going to have to win two and then win the last three versus Chargers, Patriots, and Dolphins to even have a shot. I just don't see it happening. I do think the Buffalo Bills do miss the playoffs. I do think that they'll be playing better football moving forward. I think, what's his name, Brady, was a pretty good offensive, coordinator intern move. If I remember correctly, that guy was fired from the Panthers a couple years ago. So hopefully he has learned from his mistakes. But the Buffalo Bills just need to put Josh Allen underneath center. Stop all that shotgun BS. Put him underneath center, and you're going to win a lot of football games. A lot of football games. Jameson says the Bills, Bears, Bengals, Patriots, Buccaneers need to fire their coaches. Let me repeat that for the people in the back. Jameson says the Bears, Bills, Bengals, Patriots, and Buccaneers need to fire their head coaches. Wow. First of all, I think the Bears should have fired their head coach after he should have not even got on the plane back to Chicago. Once you give up a 12-point lead in the fourth quarter to the Detroit Lions, to a division foe, and lose with 17 unanswered points, you should have been fired. Hell, he should have been fired weeks ago when they didn't they lose to the no, they beat the Carolina Panthers. Who they lose to? Like, it was just a very ugly, I can't even remember their schedule. Bengals, Zach Taylor, no. Zach Taylor, by simply taking them to the Super Bowl, he has given them a 4-year cushion minimum. Zach Taylor you have to realize he has built that team from the ground up. Zach Taylor has done a lot of good things on that team. Right now, they're riddled with injuries. Let's just call it how it is. They're riddled with injuries. Buffalo Bills. Is Sean McDermott really the issue? I don't know. Maybe, but they are already saying that, Ken Dorsey was our issue. They said Ken Dorsey was the fault. That's why he is out. New England Patriots, I do agree. I think Bill Belichick needs to be removed. Whether it's strictly in a GM role or some type of front office role, but I think he has lost his locker room. I think Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots are kind of going in two different directions, right? I feel like Bill Belichick is trying to go against the current, and it's wearing himself out, and it is showing time after time again. Now, we will see if somehow, some way, he can turn their season around and make it respectable. I mean, they have a very favorable schedule moving forward, right? They should beat the Giants. They should beat the Chargers. The Steelers are just terrible. The Broncos, we don't know how they're going to be on Christmas Eve. Should beat the Buffalo Bills. Should beat the Jets. I mean, you can still salvage a 6-win season somehow. Get hot at the right time, right? But I do agree with the Bears, and I do agree with the Patriots. The rest of them, slow it down, baby. Slow it down. Bills is okay. Bengals are okay. Buccaneers, I guess to be determined to see how the season ends. How the season ends, we'll see how I agree with the Buccaneers. WB says, right, they may lose the next two. Bills need a new scheme. They do got a new scheme now. Brady, I don't know his first name. Is it like John Brady or Josh Brady or something just like that? They are putting Josh Allen under center. They are motioning a hell of a lot more. You get to realize this is a short work week for the Buffalo Bills. They played Monday night, and they come back and they play Sunday. Was it Sunday afternoon, right? Short work week. new offensive coordinator, new scheme. It's going to take time to like adjust. Let's talk about the Bills next week. Let's see them play when they go and play the Eagles next. Let's see how the offense looks like a good defense versus the Eagles, versus the Chiefs, versus the Cowboys. Then let's talk about their head coaching situation. Jameson says Kareem Jackson in Denver is the dirtiest player, consistently laying dirty hits. Wasn't that the guy that lowered his head and catapulted himself into Josh Dobbs and caused that fumble? Was it first drive of the game when the Vikings versus the Broncos? If we're talking about the same guy, yes, Kareem Jackson needs to be. Who was the linebacker for the Bengals that got suspended for all those big hits? Was it Brissett or can't even remember? But it was a linebacker for the Bengals that consistently was getting big hits after big hits after big hits, but they're dirty hits. Kareem Jackson, if we're talking about the same guy, Jameson lowers his head and catapults himself into Josh Dobbs. Yes, that pissed me off. And I am a player that plays in the gray area, and I encourage those big hits, kind of those, I guess, cheap shots you can say, make them earn it, but that was a dirty hit. That pissed me off. John is in the chat. What's up, John? He says, good morning. John, I am beating your ass in the pick'ems just to let you know, dog. I'm saying, come here, little boy. Bad baby, bad baby, bad baby. All righty. We got some more. Chargers, too. Yeah, the Chargers need to fire their coach ASAP. Bengals aren't firing their coach. They just came off a Super Bowl and AFC Championship game last year. Thank you. It was actually 2 years ago, right? So 2 years ago, they went to the Super Bowl, and then last year they were in the championship game, right? We do got Hoffy in the chat. What is up, Hoffy? He says, Raiders Nation. What happened yesterday? I thought you were taking down the overrated Dolphins. You still sold on Adrian O'Connell. Uh-oh. And Hoffy says, Buck, you're back to the stash? You lose another bet? You looking for a divorce? And I don't have a stash. My beer is looking very, very good right now. Very, very, very good. WB Ant says, Patriots need a new coach and quarterback, LOL. Bills' way of coaching isn't going to work in this new era. Too many talented players out there. Listen, I think if the New England Patriots move on from Bill Belichick, he will not get fired. It'll be a mutual, hey, I'm going to retire. Hey, I'm going to take a lesser role. Kind of like the who was the Tampa Bay coach when Tom Brady was there? When Tom Brady was like, hey, this guy needs out. He's making me look bad. They put him kind of in like a administrative role. The big old fat guy that was so fat he couldn't wear his headset like around his belly. He had to wear it like around his chest. What's his name? But I think that's how they'll do Bill Belichick, honestly. Jim Harbaugh to New England. It would make sense. Tom Brady has been around Michigan a hell of a lot more. They just got caught for cheating. Jim Harbaugh to New England makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. Jameson asks us, is Adrian O'Connell better than Jimmy Garoppolo? For the Raiders, yes. I think so. Jimmy G is a very systemized quarterback. Jimmy G is a quarterback that is a game manager. The offense that the Raiders want to run is not a game managing offense. They want to be a high flying offense. They want to put up 40, 50, 60 points a game. They don't want to win these 10-6 games. They don't want to win a 17-10 game. They just don't want to do that. What they want to do is they want to put up the points. I believe Mark Davis has been quoted that they want to be the greatest show on turf. They want to be a great offense. And Jimmy Garoppolo is I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback, but he's a game managing quarterback. He is not a quarterback that you want to put out there and like throw for 40, 50, 60 times a game. That is why Jimmy Garoppolo excelled in San Francisco, because San Francisco is a quarterback-friendly system. They can almost take any Joe off of the street and say, hey, this is what we're going to do. I need you to hand the ball off to CMC 20 plus times. Our defense is going to eat. And when you pass, you are going to pass to one of the biggest, strongest receivers in the NFL, in Debo. Like, that is why Jimmy G succeeded in San Francisco. That's why he did not succeed in Vegas. It's just he is a game manager. That's what it comes down to. All right, guys, so moving on to the next topic of the day, we are going to talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers. We are going to talk about how terrible the Pittsburgh Steelers actually are. The Pittsburgh Steelers offense is just plain bad. Najee Harris said, and I quote, "I'm tired of this shit. I'm tired of working my ass off and not getting any results." Guys, so where, no way, should the Pittsburgh Steelers fire Matt Canada? I have been hearing this for a very, very long time from the Pittsburgh Steelers fans. I have been here probably 2+ years. For the last 2 seasons, ever since Kenny Pickett has been a part of the Pittsburgh Steelers, along with George Pickens and Najee Harris, and they've had a great defense. The Pittsburgh Steelers have one of the best defenses in the NFL. All I've been hearing is saying, fire Matt Canada. Fire Matt Canada. And for whatever reason, they were still continuing to win. They were continuing to win a lot of games. And then I sat down. I was at a baby shower, so I had the opportunity to watch a lot of football while they're playing their games and smelling diapers and all that crap. I sat there and I watched the Pittsburgh Steelers versus Cleveland Browns game. I sat there and I watched. When the Browns were on offense, I looked away and did my thing. But every time the Steelers were on offense, I sat there and I watched. And I watched. And I rewinded and I watched it again. The Pittsburgh Steelers have no offensive rhythm. There is no rhyme or reason why they do what they do. I legitimately think that Matt Canada has a list of 50 plays that he has in order, and no matter the situation, that's a play that he is going to run. Yes, I understand you can script out the first 10, 20 plays of the game. Awesome, right? But sometimes you have to realize, like, hey, it's 3rd and long. I can't run this 5-yard dive play, right? Think about this, guys. Yesterday, yes, I do know the Cleveland Browns have one of the best defenses in the NFL. Yes, I know that they were playing with a backup quarterback and their defense was going to eat all game long. But the Pittsburgh Steelers had 64 total yards in the first half. 15 yards passing in the first half. 64 total yards in the first half, and they still had an opportunity to win the game at the end of the game. You are holding the mighty Cleveland Browns down to 13 points. Yes, I know they had a backup quarterback. I get it. But Ford is playing out of his mind. Amari Cooper is playing out of his mind. Elijah Moore playing out of his mind. The Browns are playing really, really good football right now. But the Pittsburgh Steelers have to fire Matt Canada. This is 100% way. They have to fire him yesterday. After that loss versus the Cleveland Browns, 13-10, when you put up 64 total yards in the first half, I understand why the Pittsburgh Steelers fan base is pissed off. I understand why the Pittsburgh Steelers fans have been calling for Matt Canada's head for the last 2 seasons. This offense is terrible. Now, they've had flashes of greatness. Don't get it twisted. When they played the LA Rams back in like week 4, they changed their whole running system, right? They went from a zone system to a straight ahead gap system. That was a really, really good play move. I was like, okay, Pittsburgh Steelers are back. Their offense is going to be clicking. No, very next week, they go back to zone scheme again. Literally, you go to the Rams, you run it down their freaking throat, and then you want to throw away that whole playbook and go to a zone system again? Fire Matt Canada. Pittsburgh Steelers fans, I feel your guys' pain. I feel your pain. I sat there watching the game. I'm like, good God. Can this get any worse? Can this legitimately get any worse? It can. It can. It can. John says, but you picked them yesterday. I picked them yesterday because it was a rookie quarterback on his second start going up against the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. And if you think about it, if they had a little bit better play calling in that last drive, and I don't know, maybe throw to George Pickens that last drive instead of Devontae Johnson 3 times on 3 overthrows, they had themselves in position to win that game. Let's just say it is. WB says Steelers have a good offense, too. It's the quarterback and the OC. Defense has been carrying them for the last 2 seasons. I agree. And I'm not saying Kenny Pickett is a game-changing, franchising-changing quarterback by any stretch of the imagination, but I think he's a good pickup. I think Kenny Pickett is a good quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers if you bring in the right offensive coordinator. If you bring in a guy willing to understand Kenny Pickett's strengths and weaknesses, if you're willing to bring in an offensive coordinator that is going to use Najee Harris, use and abuse that guy. Najee Harris needs to be treated like CMC. 20-plus touches a game. This guy needs to get ran over and ran on over and over and over and over again. If you want to succeed, give the ball to Najee Harris. You want to win, put Booby in. That's exactly what they want to do. Jameson in the chat. He says, yes, these young quarterbacks usually fail because the coaches fail to develop them. Jameson, I think you and me are on the same page here. I think you and me agree. Coaching in the NFL is a very overlooked art, right? Now, many people think that Patrick Mahomes is probably one of the greatest quarterbacks right now of all time. He is clearly probably the best quarterback in the NFL. Guess what? He had an excellent coaching staff that brought him up properly. Eric Bieniemy, Matt Nagy, and Andy Reid brought him up properly. Now, you can say what you want about Matt Nagy, his play calling, and yada, 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 but he was a damn good quarterback coach. With Alex Smith and Matt Nagy and Patrick Mahomes in that room, that quarterback room was probably one of the best quarterback rooms you could probably put your hands on right now. When you get a young quarterback, look at C.J. Stroud. I don't know who the offensive coordinator is for the Texans or the quarterback coach, but DeMeco Ryans and that coaching staff is coaching C.J. Stroud correctly. They are teaching him how to play the game of NFL football. Tua, been brought up properly. Jalen Hurts came along. He's starting to bloom now. Brock Purdy, right? John says, oh, by the way, Joe Flacco just signed to the practice squad for Cleveland, about to make a run. Shut up with that. That was the dumbest thing they could have done. Jim is in the chat. He says, meeting's over. Meeting's over. Time to talk some shit. What's up, Jim? Hope you're in a grand old day. Jameson also says Mac Jones, Kenny Pickett, Zach Wilson, and so on could be successful with good coaching. Mac Jones, I would agree with you. Mac Jones has digressed his last 3 years in the NFL because of coaching. I will give you that. Zach Wilson, he shown signs of greatness. No. He has shown signs of better play this season with coaching from Aaron Rodgers. But I think Zach Wilson is just who he is. Zach Wilson is probably just a backup quarterback moving forward. Let's just be honest. I'm not trying to say he is a terrible quarterback. I'm not trying to say that, he can't come in and win you a few games, but he's definitely not a starting quarterback. Zach Wilson is who he is. I don't think any coaching is going to change his decision-making abilities, his arm strength, etc. As far as Kenny Pickett, I don't know. I think Kenny Pickett has a very good opportunity to be really, really, really good. He has an opportunity to win a lot of football games, as long as Matt Canada, I guess coaching, right? Coaching. All right, see what else is going on here in the chat here. John says Raiders played good defense yesterday. They did. They did. Jameson is asking, who are top 5 quarterbacks right now? We could talk about that tomorrow. Hoffy has his top 10 list, and I tend to agree with it, so I don't want to take any shine away from Hoffy, but Hoffy has a algorithm that he plugs into his little computer rankings every single week, and we can talk about that tomorrow. Hopefully my internet is back on and my studio is nice and put together, and we can bring him on and we can talk. Jameson says, how about Brock effing Purdy? Is this the same Brock Purdy that you were dogging 3 weeks ago? Was this the same Brock Purdy that you're like, oh man, this guy's terrible, bring back Jimmy G? No. But we are getting ready to talk about the one and only Brock Purdy. We're getting ready to talk about the one and only San Francisco 49ers. Brock Purdy had a perfect quarterback ranking yesterday. A perfect one. I believe he was the first one since Joe Montana to do it for the San Francisco 49ers. Brock Purdy played absolutely perfect football yesterday versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So we got to bring up the question. We have to bring up the question. Is Brock Purdy a MVP in the NFL? When we look at Brock Purdy and the San Francisco 49ers, Brock Purdy is an excellent fit in their system. Brock Purdy is a guy that you can probably win a lot of football games with, and they will win a lot of football games with Brock Purdy. However, in those 3 games that they lost to the Browns, Vikings, and Bengals in 3 straight weeks and going on to a bye week. I don't want to take anything away from it, but there's injuries and other things. But when we look at the loss to the Browns, Brock Purdy was 12 for 27 for 125 yards with a touchdown and an interception versus a very, very great Browns defense. However, on that last drive, he put the 49ers in a position to win the game. He drove them down, putting them in field goal range, and the third-round kicker straight up missed it. Wide right. Straight up missed it. Now, next week, they lost to the Minnesota Vikings. 21-30, I believe it was. No, it was, I can't remember the score. But Brock Purdy went 21 for 30, 272 yards with 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions. On the flip side of that coin, CMC had 15 touches for 45 yards. This was a game that Kyle Shanahan asked Brock Purdy to go out there and win me a game. Win me a game, Brock Purdy. That's not who Brock Purdy is. He's a game manager. Then you had the loss versus the Bengals. Brock Purdy went 22 for 31, 365 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. He was also the leading rusher of that game for 6 carries for 57 yards. On the flip side of that, CMC had 12 carries for 54 yards. So what I'm trying to say is, on these games that the 49ers have lost, Brock Purdy has been asked to do things that he is not built to do. Brock Purdy is a perfect game manager. Brock Purdy is a quarterback you want to put out there, kind of like, let's say it is, Tom Brady and Dak Prescott. Back in the day, Tom Brady was not asked to win games. He was out there to go out there and not lose me this game. With that being said, no way. Brock Purdy is not the MVP in the league. He is not only he's not only the MVP of the NFL. He's not even the most valuable player on his team. The most valuable player is CMC. In every victory that the 49ers have had this season, CMC has touched the ball over 20 times in a game. Over 20 times he has touched the ball. Rushing, not counting passing, rushing yards, rushing attempts, 20 rushing attempts. In those losses to the Bengals, 12 carries. Lost to the Vikings, 15 carries. Lost to the Browns, 12 carries. Obviously, CMC is what makes the 49ers click. CMC is what makes the 49ers go and win a lot of football games. CMC is the make or break point for the San Francisco 49ers. No way Brock Purdy is not the MVP of the NFL. And then, Jameson, I thought we were on good terms all day long, and then you want to give me this crap. Brock Purdy suffered a concussion before he threw an interception versus the Minnesota Vikings. Okay. So he got thumped. But somehow it wasn't registered upstairs. It wasn't registered by the medical field. That sounds like an excuse. Because in this day and age that we live in this medical field that we are living in, you get hit a little too hard, you are going to get concussion protocol. You are going to go to the blue tent and you are going to get tested. So I don't want to hear this shit. Brock Purdy suffered a concussion before he threw an interception versus Minnesota. Who gives a shit? Legit. Who gives a shit? He was out there. He was playing the game. So you cannot use that as a excuse. Okay, let's use this excuse, right? Trevor Lawrence threw 3 red zone interceptions because he had a brace on his knee and he wasn't used to it. Like, come on. Those are just excuses. We don't want to hear that crap. We don't want to hear it. No way, no how. Seriously, who gives a shit? Legit. And you're right. Who gives a shit? Listen. He threw an interception in the game, and then all of a sudden, he's got a concussion. He played bad versus the Minnesota Vikings that last fourth quarter because he had a concussion. He was playing right. It is what it is. XD Gamer says, why do you keep taking shots at my Jaguars? The only reason why I brought up Trevor Lawrence and the 3 interceptions in the red zone because he had a knee brace on because I just happened to see you in the chat, XD Gamer. What's up, man? Your Jags are playing some good football right now. Good win over the weekend versus the Titans. Great division win. I believe that puts you guys pretty much in the division, like obviously in the division driver's seat, but the Texans have to beat you guys, and you guys basically have to lose to like the Titans and the Texans, just for them to have a chance. So great win. But WB Ant's like, that's true though, man. Burrow played hurt throughout this whole season until last week, and I'm a Ravens fan saying this. Yes, if you are out there, I don't care if you have a strained hamstring, a strained calf, Did you guys see that? There's a guy from the Jets, I think, literally broke his finger so bad his bone was poking through the glove. That guy should have got a lot of medical attention to get all the infections out of that crap after that game. But if you are out there playing an NFL game, I don't want to hear any excuses. Any excuses. I don't care if you have a broken hand. I don't care if you have a broken leg. I don't care if you have a concussion. If you are out there playing the game of football, you clearly think you are in a position that you are the best for your team, so there are no freaking excuses. No freaking excuses. And then Jameson wants to clap back and say they should have taken him out. Don't that make you question the medical professionals at the game? Listen, as a coach, I have my physical or my athletic trainer right next to me damn near every game, right? There are a lot of things happening in the NFL game or in the high school game, in the college game. There's a lot of stuff happening. There are 22 kids on the field at any given time. A lot of car crashes are happening. At some point, the player has to be like, look, I don't quite feel good, man. That is how we catch probably 70% of our concussions and injuries. Our players come up and say, hey, man, my ankle hurts. Hey, this hurts. You know, me being a coach, like, suck it up. But, you know, you got to do what you got to do. What you got to do. Great point, WB Amp. He says Lamar Jackson was also limping in the game and came back and played the rest of the game. Yes. Lamar Jackson rolled that ankle pretty bad, but he was still out there balling. You didn't see him making any excuses. Now, of course, they did win that game. If they would have come back and lost that game, would have been an excuse? I don't know. Ant, you tell me. If you guys would have lost that game, I believe it was to the Bengals, right? And let's say you guys ended up losing that game. Would you say, oh, we only lost because Lamar Jackson had a sprained ankle. He's trying to play through it. I don't care. Lamar Jackson was like out there, right? With all the money that these dudes make, they definitely got to play still. True. All right, guys. So Brock Purdy is not the MVP of the NFL. Steelers need to fire Matt Canada. The Broncos are not a playoff team, but it is time to talk about the game of the week. Not only the week, the game of the month. No. Not even the game of the month. It's the game of the year. This is the game that many people have had circled on their calendar for a very, very, very long time. And that is Super Bowl rematch, the Eagles traveling to Arrowhead to take on the Kansas City Chiefs. This is a game that could be another possible Super Bowl preview, right? Back-to-back Super Bowl, Chiefs versus Eagles, round two. Like, I would not put it past the NFL to making this happen. If you're catching the rig reference, congratulations, you are a Man Hour Nation scholar. You get the purple ribbon. The NFL is not rigged. But, excuse me, this is a game that I'm looking forward to, not only as a Chiefs fan, but as an NFL fan in general. This is the game that I'm looking forward to see if Jalen Hurts can repeat his performance from the Super Bowl. If you guys remember, in that Super Bowl, he rushed for 3 touchdowns, setting a single Super Bowl game record with 3 rushing touchdowns. Threw for 304 yards and a tutty. But slow it down, baby. Slow it down. We have some keys to today's game. We have some things that we're looking forward to. We have some things that the Eagles need to do to win this game. 3 things that the Eagles need to do to win this game is pressure Patrick Mahomes. They have to put pressure on Patrick Mahomes. They have to put him on the turf over and over and over again. Flashback to the Super Bowl. The Eagles needed just 2 sacks to set an all-time NFL record for most sacks of the season. Guess what? They got 0 sacks. And the offensive line of the Kansas City Chiefs got better. Yes, they don't have Orlando Brown Jr. anymore, but they got better. Number 2 is do not let Jalen Hurts play hero ball. What do I mean by that? Flashback to the Super Bowl. Yes, Jalen Hurts had 3 rushing touchdowns. He threw for a touchdown. He threw for 304 yards. But you don't need that. You just need Jalen Hurts just to manage the game. You don't need him to be scrambling around, throwing for 5 touchdowns. You just need to let him sit back there, do the RPO stuff, run some slants routes. Just let him be a quarterback. Don't let him be Superman out there. Next thing that the Eagles need to do to win this game is do not forget about Devontae Smith. Yes, A.J. Brown is balling out of his mind. Yes, A.J. Brown is playing really, really good football. Yes, A.J. Brown has 1,000 yards receiving this season. However, Devontae Smith, 42 catches this year on 60 targets for 533 yards for 4 tutties. Do not forget about Devontae Smith. Do not forget about that guy. He will be the X factor of tonight's game. Devontae Smith, mark it down. X factor. Next up, the Kansas City Chiefs. This is 3 ways they can win this game. They should win this game if they do these 3 games. Have a nice, balanced attack. Don't worry about passing the ball for 500-plus yards. Don't worry about going for 6 tutties, Patrick Mahomes. Worry about nickel and diamond down the field, handing the ball off to Pacheco, giving the ball to CEH, giving the ball to Jared McKinnon. We have a 3-headed running back monster back there. Let them eat. Let Patrick Mahomes nickel and diamond down the field. Have a nice, balanced attack. Number 2, we have been saying this for weeks. We have been saying this all season long. Travis Kelce is the number 1 receiver on the Kansas City Chiefs. Nobody can say that any different way. But the Kansas City Chiefs need to find a number 2. What makes teams out there so great? What makes the Eagles great? They have a nice number 2, Devontae Smith. Miami Dolphins, what makes them so great? They have a nice number 2, Jalen Waddle. San Francisco 49ers, what makes them so great? They have a nice number 2, Brandon Ayuk. The Kansas City Chiefs need to find a number 2 receiver today. Their offense has been sputtering at best all season long. They need to find that solid number 2 receiver. Whether it's going to be Rashid Rice, whether it's going to be MVS, whether it's going to be Tooney, they need to find that guy tonight. I am tired of waiting. I'm tired of somebody to step up. Somebody needs to step up and be the guy. Number 3, they need to win on 1st and 2nd down on the defense. You want to keep the Eagles in 3rd and long and 4th and plus 3 yards. You want to keep them in position. You want to make the Eagles play behind the chains. What makes the Eagles so good is that they are a 4-down offense. Most teams, when they get in 4th and 1, they're like, oh, we'll just punt it away. We'll just play field position game. No. The Eagles have the best offensive line in the game. They have the best offensive play in the NFL, the brotherly shove. You can legitimately probably run that play every play and get 3 yards every freaking time. You can have an 18 play drive, 90+ yards, and do nothing but the brotherly shove. That's how great that play is. So if the Kansas City Chiefs defense can keep them in 3rd and long and 4th and plus 3 yards, they're going to win this game. So guys, in the comments below, let me know, who do you got winning tonight's game? Jameson says the Chiefs and Eagles will not live up to expectations. What are your expectations of this game, Jameson? Do you expect a shootout? Do you expect a very classic back and forth type of score? What do you expect from this game? let me ask you that question. WB is in the chat, and he says, yeah, there wouldn't have been any excuse because Burrow also hurt that game as well. So he's referring back to if Lamar Jackson got hurt or if they would have lost that game, would have blamed Lamar Jackson. Instead, next man up, especially since our backup has been in this position before. Yes, great backup, by the way. Jameson says, who turns it over more, Mahomes or Hurts? This is what I believe Patrick Mahomes has 14 touchdowns to 8 interceptions so far this season. He has kind of been a turnover machine, right? Just 3 weeks ago, the Kansas City Chiefs had 5 turnovers versus the Denver Broncos. 5. If Patrick Mahomes has more turnovers than Jalen Hurts, they will lose this game. But I think it is going to be a very, very clean game. I don't anticipate any turnovers. I think both teams are going to come out there and execute very, 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 very well. So I don't think any of the quarterbacks will have turnovers. If there is a turnover, it'll be a special teams turnover, a muffed punt, maybe a helmet on a ball, that type of thing. I don't anticipate any turnovers as in interceptions tonight versus Mahomes and or Hurts. How has the Chiefs' offensive line gotten better? Stats, baby. The stats do not lie. Look at the stats. Orlando Brown Jr. was a very, very good left tackle. I will give you that. But the Chiefs have gotten better when they picked up Devon Smith. Devon Smith was a great pickup. He is like 10 years in the league, I think it is. 9 years in the league. He is a very OG'd, very weathered left tackle. He's been overlooked many, many years, but trust me, the Chiefs line has gotten better. Watch it. And don't forget about Dallas Goedert. Isn't Dallas Goedert out? I thought Dallas Goedert got hurt versus the. Let me check that to make sure, but I'm pretty sure I thought Dallas Goedert was out. Yeah, so so just to confirm, Ant, Dallas Goedert is out for tonight's game. I think he broke his wrist. If I remember correctly, was it his wrist or his ankle? But no, here it is. So yeah, he broke his arm. So yeah, he broke his arm last week. So he is out. James says, how does Kelsey show off for Swift? Sheesh. He doesn't have to show off. He already has that girl locked up. He already got that ring on the finger. Travis Kelce just got to do Travis Kelce things. Says you're right. Travis Kelce is a wide receiver. I believe Travis Kelce lines up standing up in a wide receiver position 60% of the time. I could be wrong, but it is what it is. Jameson also says, Brandon Ayuk is the 49ers' best receiver hands down. I don't know. Debo's pretty good too, man. Debo's pretty good. Ant says this game is going to come down to who can control the time of possession. I agree with that. Whoever has the more time of possession. No. Let's say this: more offensive plays. Whoever has more offensive plays will win this game. Whoever's defense gets tired first, that is who is win the game. Arthur Brown's in chat. What's up, Arthur Brown? My man, good win last week, brother. He says we have a nice number 2, but Tua forces the ball hell out of Tyreek Hill all the time. He's the only receiver. Yes. Unfortunately, you are right. You are right. Arthur Brown says, I got the Chiefs tonight. I believe Ant had the Eagles 27-20. I'm taking the Chiefs as well. And last question of the day, it says, who gets more rushing yards tonight? Pacheco or Swift? It will be Swift. It will be Swift for the Eagles 100%, because the Kansas City Chiefs have 3 running backs that they use. Isaiah Pacheco is the number one, but if you look at it, I think he only has like 400 yards on the season. Jarrett McKinnon's sitting about 300, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire is sitting about 300 as well. So the Chiefs rotate the running backs a lot, keeps them all fresh. So Swift will have more yards than Pacheco 100%. Kelsey just can't use all of his energy for the game. Save some for Taylor. Oh, you guys. Dogging my girl Taylor Swift over. Come on, man. Tay-Tay is pretty good. She's pretty good. That's what Travis Kelce needed. Nice little woman to lock him down. Stop partying so much. If you guys are from the Kansas City area, you know that Travis Kelce partied a lot. He closed down bars a lot. He would go down to Power Light on a Tuesday night and pay for everybody's bar tab and party till like 4 o'clock in the morning. Who are y'all Super Bowl picks? Cowboys versus Chiefs. That's my pick. But guys, that's going to be it for tonight, or for today, for this morning. We'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully back on camera. Hoffy will be back as well, because I just saw my internet come on back up. It's been off all night apparently. But this is live, raw, uncut NFL talk, guys. We'll see you tomorrow, 10 a.m. East Coast time. And enjoy the game tonight. We'll be in the chat at facebook.com/man hour and talk that shit. Let's talk that shit. See you guys next time. We out.